What's up? What's up? Just thought about something. I always shout out people like and following these people. GMS Assembly, they give double praise to the people. No, not to the people. Double praise to the ancestors. Double praise to apostles, and double praise to Yahweh. I'm not. That's not how they pronounce it. But and I'm not about to try to slaughter the name. But one thing I noticed is that I'm not necessarily in a clique. I'm not necessarily in a group or or any. I wouldn't know what to call it, but I do follow in the sense of I do receive messages and I do receive knowledge from other people, and I feel like we should give double praise or double honors to these people in the sense of we all sharing knowledge and we all should be thankful for the expanding and things like that. But like I always shout out Bobby Him, I always shout out Brother Panic, and it's really to help y'all go find other knowledge in the sense of giving sources because I don't necessarily read a lot of books, and I usually tap into other people's knowledge and just go from there because I mean honestly everybody's just summing up the book of life in a sense, so I'd rather just listen to people, and that's all a book really is a summary of somebody's mind. And so I mean I choose to listen to people, so I just shout out to them or whatever, and hopefully y'all watch them and get grab from them. And I don't when I shout these people out, I listen to some people more than others, but you have to use your own discernment. I can't be out here babying y'all with the things that I listen to and follow. Look, I'm just out here sharing and spreading, making sure I leave some type of trail behind that, other things I listen to and follow, but or found. I hate using follow, but it's only because people blindly follow. Following ain't even a bad word. It's just when people, stereotypes. But to get into it, I wanted to talk about the silence, and I wanted to talk about pretty much Tesla law and what he discovered in a sense. I wouldn't even call it his law, but the things that he tapped into, and pretty much energy frequencies and vibrations. But we was somebody talked about on Twitter. It was like, how do you feel about the body, and how do you feel about vibration? I mean, not vibration, but levitation, like magnetism, like resonation and shit like that. Just things with the body that people wouldn't consider or whatever. And pretty much, shout out to Flightbus. He pretty much talking about how Earth was an element, and as within as without, like that mean our body is an element. And if we was to look at it as like vibranium or something like that, it's like one of the most technical logical sources. Fuck, I slaughtered that word. All we had to do is pretty much tap into the vibrations and frequencies to transmute it to get it to do whatever we want. And it's not like it's some, this physical thing that's outside of nature. Like, if you look at the scarab beetle, if you look at the bumblebee, like, they all defy physics. And there's plenty of other examples that defy physics, but, we don't get shown it that often, so we don't get to see those experiences and, correlated to our life in a sense. But just to get into it more, I was talking about how the pineal gland, I feel like it's our source, like how the pretty much the scarab and the bumblebee has like a vessel inside of them that resonates, and it makes them vibrate off the ground. They're pretty much not flying, they're pretty much vibrating. And then it goes to show you that it's not really about gravitation and all that shit. It's about vibration, and it's about frequencies and shit like that. And if you think about our pineal gland being that same vessel that the beetles and the things like have, I feel like we could do the same thing, and through experiences and receiving frequencies through my pineal gland and my body feeling like certain type of out of body experiences, it only makes me think that I can make this body light, I can make this body, do the things it needs to do that we would think is superhero-ish, but that's really just another thing that we see every day. Like, and we just don't think that we're a part of it. And we're literally everything. Our body is almost, I won't even say almost, our body is almost compounded. I said it again, compounded of every element that we know of. Like, we're literally like the rainbow when it comes to this our element in our body. Like, we're not just one element in a sense. Like, I know astrology say we're fire and all these things, but the compound and the makeup of our physical body is literally all the elements. Like, we are the avatar in a sense. And yeah, people think only the 4 elements, including ether, but if you really just get into it, like, all elements are compounded of those elements in a sense. So let's just go from there. And that's pretty much alchemy. But silence is more important than the beat because silence is the creator of sound. And this is kind of getting into how I think you can transmute these frequencies that we hear during the day. And even if you receive frequencies in your sleep, which I think would be a lot more powerful because you're awake, but you're not literally like physically awake in a sense, so you can tap into it more. And I think that's when people have like sleep paralysis, because I've been having that a lot lately with those experiences, and I think it kind of go hand in hand. And I used to hear frequencies but didn't have like the vibrations that went along with it, so I think it's all a part of the growth and transmutation of my body or whatever, or metamorphosis you could say. And what did I say? Silence is more important than the beat because the silence is the creator of sound, and darkness is the silence to light. So just using all that together, like the silence is the creator and darkness is the creator of light. So if you're using silence to find yourself in like the beats or in the frequencies or even in meditation or just period, like you'll find yourself. Like if you get out the stagnation and the frequency of society and get all alone to yourself in the silence, you find yourself. There's different ways you can look at it, a bunch of different perspectives you can look at it, excuse me. But silence is always the key in the sense of finally finding your shadow self. And silence is really just a metaphor for the most quiet place. It ain't gonna never really truly be silent, I don't think. Like it's always gonna be some type of energy, some type of frequency, some type of vibration. Because I mean, you're alive, like it is what it is. But it's about, I guess, honing in and tapping into the most purest frequency, I guess, to make the most sense. And silence is the best way to explain it, because silence is not even silence. That's just our way of explaining it. You know, like it's like I would say like antimatter and antimatter. It's like it's not even like what we think it is, but it's just our label and our definition of it, honestly. But light with no darkness is how. Oh, light with no darkness, how would your frequency sound? And so, like I said, we all frequencies, and we all we all vibrating on different things, and that's how we receive these frequencies. The higher vibration or lower vibration you are on, the different frequencies you receive from the universe, higher self, shadow self, and things like that. And like I said, if you have no darkness in your frequency, that means you have no silence in your light. That means you're literally just one key. You're just one note. You have no space. You have period. Like space is the best thing to use, because literally in the sense of the universe, the realm that we're in now, or period, when it comes to just having depth, you have no space when you're just one tone. If you're just a light worker, if you're just a light being, then you have no depth. You're really just, I mean, I wouldn't listen to you. You wouldn't sound good. You'd be off rhythm. You wouldn't have no rhythm, because it's literally, like I said, the silence is the creator of the light. So what really are you? Like, you're a fake light, because you can't, like, how can you be one note? And that's a lot of people don't understand with this. Oh, I want to be 100% positive. I want to be 100% like you. No, it's a mix of everything. It's about alchemy. If you was just one thing, bro, you just gonna be a lake and you're gonna be stagnant, not going no fucking where. It's about mixing things and, like I said, becoming all the elements and then transmuting them hoes. Understanding really you are already the elements, not even becoming them hoes. Nigga, what the fuck was that? But yeah, you're one key, you're one frequency, you lack depth. Each space in the beat gives more character to the vibration. Like, there's space before every beat that you have or every vibration that you have. The longer the space, or however the space is, it gives you more time to have depth. It gives you more time to create. It gives you more time to have characteristics from, if you're freestyling, actually rapping, from freestyling, not freestyle dancing, or to even if you was listening and giving you time to think. Those spaces give you time to dive into the beat, dive into the song in a sense. And it's all a part of the magic of music in a sense. And that's why beats, like people, teachers a long time ago said, niggas don't, well, she didn't say niggas, but she was like, niggas don't be listening to songs anymore, they just listen to the beats. And that's honestly the truth. Like, that's really where we come from. And that's why this what you call that shit, mumble rap can work, because it's not even about really the words in a sense. It's about the sounds, it's about the feelings that you get, and things like that. Like James Brown, and that nigga say, do it feel good, do it sound good? Like, he wasn't necessarily saying words all the time. And I guess that's kind of where we get lost in not really understanding art and music, and everybody a product of their environment. If they make it something that sound good, and it's appealing to your ears, it is what it is. If it sound good, it feel good, and it's good. And if other people listen to it and it ain't sound good to you, that mean that's what they like. That's their frequency. That's what they fuck with. And That's the part of not even trying to change people's frequencies, because trying to change them, be merge your frequencies and do all that thing and shit like that when it comes to just kind of getting deep. When it comes to you trying to always affect other people's lives, sometimes it might be good, it might be your kid life, you might have to, but a lot of times you got to understand and watch your energy and not being like empathetic and having sympathy for everybody, because that's your energy, that's your frequency, and if you keep giving it off to other people, you're really just a frequency whore. And I mean, that's really what you can say we are in this day and age. If you look at the physical, we are slaves, we are giving our energy to other people and not ourselves, and that's because that's what we do spiritually. Let's get more into it, though. Like I said, silence is where in the beat where you explore. Like even if you're dancing, freestyle dancing, like the silence is where you can do your own thing. You can get out the structure of the beat. You can have whatever. Like that's where you find yourself in the song, and then you come back, and once you snap back with the beat, that's when everybody like, oh, like even though they watch you the whole time, but when you catch back with that beat, it's just a whole part of it, because you're in rhythm, you're in sync, but you still finding depth and character in that space and shit like that. Same with, I already said freestyling, but it's like that space, bro, give you so much time to think. And even like when you freestyle, you go through like 20, 30 thoughts, but I'm really being funny, but you probably go through more than even that. You probably go through you probably go through thousands of thoughts while you freestyling, and then literally that space give you that right moment to like, what thought I'm gonna sync up, and you hit that hoe. And just shout out to Robert, nigga put me on game, like nigga, how Houston people freestyle, we off the top versus other people's version of freestyle is just not using a hook. So that kind of tie into it more and giving yourself more time to think when you think of the traditional style of freestyling. Like you literally thinking, in that time in between those spaces is the time you got to shine, in a sense. That's when people really listening to you the most. And shit, you don't really got to say shit when the beat drop, to be honest. You can fuck up your words as soon as the beat drop, and niggas like, oh, because whatever you said before when it was quiet, that's what it was, type shit. Like I've had many experiences like that freestyling. Like damn, I could have killed the hoe, but they didn't hear me. Silence is what it, okay. And our silence self is our most shadow self. I don't know if I said that in this video, but it's who we really are. It's what creates the character that we play out in life. Like I said, with the beats, like the depth, the space between the vibration gives that vibration more character. And whatever we trying to do, whatever we trying to play out in this spirit, whatever space we exist in, whatever depth that we have, whatever our soul pretty much withholds, like whatever our soul is, that's how we're gonna play out. Like whatever we need to fix, whatever we need to learn from, whatever we need to eat, in a sense, that's what our soul would form a diet, in a sense, or our spirit would form a diet to eat, to give the soul and make it a better, experience, in a sense, to transmute the soul. Like the spirit job is to transmute the soul, in a sense. And that's why I talk about darkness, creating light to to help explore the darkness, in a sense, because the darkness can't really explore itself. And like I said before, like spirit pretty much tie into everything. Like spirituality is not just like, I mean, you could say the same thing with science, but science is clearly mimicking what spirituality has, because science misses the one thing, and that's pretty much how everything's connected. And they might talk about it every once in a while, but they still lack the depth and understanding. And even if they do understand it all, they're not portraying that to the people. But damn, I'm almost out of time. You find yourself inside the silence and the darkness, and that kind of go to your shadow self. When you the most quiet, when you meditating, when you getting outside of society and just going to yourself, like that's when you listen to yourself the most. That's when you discover yourself the most, in the silence. And like I said, the silence is necessarily not silence. It's just our way of understanding it and our way of explaining it to people. It's pretty much quieting out the chatter that really don't matter. And that shit funny because it wrong. But, I'm fucking childish. But, yeah, it pretty much is all tying to that. And understanding and learning yourself, you find yourself in that silence. And that's pretty much the darkness. And